Hi, welcome to Twinbill podcast where two twins fit the bill talking about movies. Did you know that last week I called the show Twin Killing because it was our old title?
No, I missed that.
It's very exciting. Yeah. So let's warm up first, as we do. Let's do a quick 2 out of 3 rock, paper, scissors. Okay, here we go. Well, so 1, 2, 3, shoot, then you put your thing out. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. What'd you put? Cut your paper. That's 1. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Tie. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Tie. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You cut me, so it's 1-1. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, I beat you. I'm the champion. Okay. This week, we're doing a Halloween episode. What's more scary than a movie that's actually scary, Marcus? I have an answer for you.
Terrible movie.
Yep. A movie that questioning your sanity while you're trying to sit through. And not because it's mind-rattling. It's just boringly stupid. So this week we're talking about Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Unless you're living under a rock, you're somehow not familiar with the first movie, we'll briefly go through the plot. I was thinking about this. My review of The Exorcist would be surprisingly complicated because Exorcist has a reputation as being scariest movie ever made. It's just scary, scary, scary. Don't watch it, blah, blah, blah. And the movie's actually very strange, and it's like hyper realism. Like the first half of the movie, I don't know if you remember this, but like Reagan is like physically ill.
Yeah.
She's like can't speak properly. She's like wetting herself on the stairs.
She's getting every medical test she can.
Yeah, and then the exorcism happens, and ironically, somewhat like this movie. I'm not saying this movie's the same level, but the last act of the movie is excellent, where they're doing the exorcism in the room, and it keeps getting worse. And spoiler alert: Max von Sydow dies, and Father Karras, his assistant, snaps and almost kills Reagan because of the demon's possession. But he fights with one last ounce of energy, and one of the greatest cinematographic effects ever. He jumps out the window, and the camera shows a POV as he goes flying down those famous stairs in Pennsylvania or something. I don't know.
Because he takes on the demons of hell and gets out of her, and then kills himself with the demon inside. So it appears to kill the demon.
Yeah, so it's very unsettling, but also very clever action movie ending. Expect nothing less from William Friedkin. So yeah, that's a very brief summary of the first movie. So as we'll go into, this movie raised a lot of problems for a sequel because there's a lot of finality, poetic justice, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the first movie. And they're like, but it made so much money. Why don't we do a sequel? And right away, before you even see the movie and talk about the cast, you realize there's a problem because I don't know the total logistics. Maybe you know a little more, but Jason Miller did not come. I think is his name. Did not come back as Father Karras. I know he's dead, but he was the main character, kind of, in a way, the first one. And Ellen Burstyn's character, Reagan's mother, refused to be in the movie. Is what you told me?
Yes, they offered it to her, and she decided to work on other projects.
Yeah, and then I'm cribbing notes from our show we talked about last week too. What's it called? The worst that happened.
What went wrong?
What went wrong? They were talking about the Exorcist episode that Ellen Burstyn suffered physical damage in her real life because of William Friedkin's directorial style and stunt work.
He broke her coccyx and caused her permanent back damage.
Yeah, so she's out of the movie too. So we're already in a space where characters that defined the experience of the first movie are gone, but we're supposed to make a movie that's a direct sequel to the second one. And more backstory I know is that William Peter Blatty may have contributed initially to the script, but he effectively disowned this movie and later directed Exorcist 3, which we'll talk about on a later episode. So all that to say, here we are. They're going to do a sequel. So what's the sequel about? I don't know, but I'll try to explain. The biggest well, there's a lot of little things from the first movie that come back. The biggest one to me, obviously, the way they shot it and stuff, is in the first movie, we get a hint that Max von Sydow's character, the elder priest, I guess he's literally the Exorcist, but
Father Marin.
Father Marin, he went to, in the first movie, he went to Africa and was investigating this unknown evil that gets the name Pazuzu officially in this movie. But anyway, he investigates it, it comes back, and Exorcist 2, the Heretic, which we're going to get into, is like, what if we just do a lot of that? Like, let's go to Africa a lot.
Yeah.
So which is weird, because in the first movie, the Africa part is the before times. And Exorcist 2 is a sequel. It's not a prequel, as the movie makes it very clear. But we have to bring Max von Sydow back to recreate prequelish elements from the first movie. And then we have new character going to Africa. It's already jumbly. It's already a jumbly mess. We barely got started. But
I mean, I guess it's somewhat mysterious in the first one, so if you're interested to explain, but the details, it's only 10 minutes, like you said, and it's kind of mysterious that you don't know everything that's happening. I think it's the biggest problem this movie has, is it tries to explain the mythology of the demon and who it's interacted with the past and the people it's impacted and who it's currently impacting, and it's the most one of the most confusing movies I've ever seen. I don't understand how they thought, we'll get into it, I guess, but how they thought what they did would be entertaining.
yeah. So let's get into the actual plot of the movie as it's shown. Get a very, very poorly designed special effect sequence, in my opinion, before the movie really gets started, because they try to establish, kind of like the first movie, that Jason Miller has this haunted past because he took care of his sick mother. And his sick mother may have been annoying and all these things. Anyway, the new movie, we have Richard Burton playing a character. Do you remember his name?
Father Lamont.
Oh, Lamont. Like Lamont Wilson. Yes, okay. I don't know if that's doing anything, but I'd rather watch...
Sanford and some references for the kids.
Anyway, so he's in... I'm sure the movie said it. I don't remember. He's in South America.
It's Mexico.
And he's doing like a exorcism thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this woman who keeps saying like, "Por qué, why?"
And she says, and this explains the future encounters he has and his mission. She keeps saying, "I heal the sick." Spoiler alert, the people Father Lamont is trying to help and learn from are all superpowered people who can help people, and Pazuzu wants to snuff out people who can help people because he's a horrible demon, wants to kill more people.
Wow, so it's almost like a superhero film. I didn't even make the connection, but
with demons and I guess Reagan, the Mexican girl, and then James Earl Jones and boy James Earl Jones are heroes.
So just to finish my anecdote,
angels, I guess.
Just to finish my anecdote, I said it was a poor special effect, and it was, because she goes like por qué, and then the inner tension she's got going on, or I guess Pazuzu shows up or whatever, and she like burns alive. But the way they shot it, I know you can't burn someone alive for realsies, but it was so like transparent, the effect, that it looked like she was like in a different room or something. It was kind of awkward.
I'm not Catholic, I'm not religious, but Catholics love candles. It's way too many fucking candles to have around in a small contained space.
Yeah.
When you're concerned with demons in there, she burns up because the demon moves around the candles. It's gonna fucking happen. That's why she burned to a crisp.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess at least they gave a mechanism of the injury. I mean,
you gotta light your room more carefully if you have a demon.
Yeah, so that was a weird thing, and then they cut to the title sequence, so it's like, this is the Exorcist sequel, and it's like, well, this didn't really remind me of the Exorcist that much. It was a little more loose and dumb than the.
I'll defend this movie a little bit. I mean, he was trying to clearly do an exorcism, and it's The Exorcist 2. How it seems pretty on the nose to the first one. If you think about
okay.
it.
If I was doing this movie, what I would do, and I'm sure later movies did this, you'd show Reagan in bed, and then it comes down on her face, and her eyes glow, like zooms on her face, and eyes glow in the dark, and it's like, oh, her demon's coming back, because the movie's about Reagan. The movie's not about Mexicans and Richard Burton. I love Richard Burton, but he's not a character from the first movie.
I actually think the movie would have been better if they moved on to a new girl, to be honest.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that, and also my unfair criticisms of Reagan's acting. But so we get the credits, and then the movie, I would argue, yeah, I guess it goes more.
So a note on the credits is, it's a shocking part of this movie as well, is there's a bunch of actors, Oscar-winning actors, and it's directed by John Boorman. I don't know his whole filmography, but he's directed good films, well-received films before, because Deliverance is a very well-received, considered a classic movie, and it's also
Academy Award-winning
horror movie as well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's go.
He directs this pile of garbage.
Let's quickly mention it. So this movie manages to waste Richard Burton, Louise Fletcher, and James Earl Jones, at least.
I also like Ned Beatty, who's in a very tiny role in the movie.
Definitely a good actor. Yeah, yes.
Anyone else?
I mean, not directly award-winning, but
Max von Sydow.
Oh yeah, he was Oscar nominated.
I mean, he was The Exorcist, so he gets the shine from that at least. Everyone except him and Linda Blair. Him and Linda Blair are the only ones that carry over from the first one. I can say they were in a good Exorcist movie.
I mean, you count Pazuzu as a character, I guess.
Saying actors, Pazuzu is a...
Yes, I understand.
Best actor goes to Pazuzu.
I want to thank my mother. So yeah, I'm gonna bounce. I'm sure you'll pull me back in the plot, but we'll see. So
I think it's better to do that for good movies.
Okay, the one part I do remember at the beginning of the movie, we talked about this before, is we cut to Linda Blair, Reagan, now in her, preteen? How old is she supposed to be now?
We just saw, according to Wikipedia, she's supposed to be 16, which makes the ending more creepy.
Yes, anything below 18, no me gusta mucho, but, yeah, we'll get into it. But, so, yeah, she's in, I thought she had, given into her acting career fully and moved to New York to be on Broadway, but you were saying it was probably an acting school or something, or theater school or something, or school of the theater program, or school of the talent show. I don't know. Wait, what do you think it is? High school with an art, general high school with a talent show, or an art school, or what?
I guess it's New York School of Art or something, like New York Performing High School for the Arts or something, but they don't flesh that out enough. She's never in a class or anything. It's just rehearsals and then the performance of really lazy tap dancing routine.
Yeah, it's like
by New York.
So I call it Gold Diggers 1933 because it's the very we're showgirl dancers doing a show.
Yeah, there's similar looks to that, but it's giving too much credit because if you actually analyze the complexity of the tap dancing, it's like you'd be okay if a 6-year-old did that level of tap dancing.
John Boorman is not Bob Fosse. I don't know if you know that or not. Right?
He didn't bother with a choreographer for this movie. So
anyway, they do a whole thing where she's struggling to learn. I don't know who cares, because it's not like this isn't a Fame or chorus line movie where she's got to get the part.
It shows how bad the movie is. It's not really the best scene in the movie because I thought it was kind of cute that she's struggling, and then and I thought there'd be a plot about a romantic relationship between her and the saxophone player. Shows you what I know, because the saxophone player is literally just there to play the saxophone in one scene. They make eye contact and plays a little tune. I thought it was from Lullaby from New York. It's possible it's just a little saxophone ditty to get her to get the rhythm better.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cute that they were helping each other learn to dance.
Yeah, it's a bit rote cliche, but it's.
Oh my god. I think this movie could use more cliches instead of the random shit they get into. My god.
Speaking of which, how does Ray? Before we get into the place with the glass walls, how does Reagan end up there?
She volunteers there.
That's just fucking random.
I don't mind it. This isn't the problem in the movie. They're setting her up that, and they do this in the first one too. She's an angelic child in kind of both movies, where she's a sweet kid who's a friend to everyone, loves everyone. So her turn becomes more shocking. And actually, it was almost considered, I heard, for the first movie for it to be a boy. And I think that's good. It was a good idea to use a girl because I think you kind of expect boys to be little shits more often than girls.
Yeah. I mean, again, a girl who's pure of heart and helps people, it's not a great start for a character. But, I mean, this movie's already sort of in that place. But,
everything has to be angsty Quentin Tarantino.
No, I know, but there's not much room for character progression. But as we find out, the character progression is kind of the Monsties or Richard Burton or something. So anyway, let's get into the set piece of this movie. This is the only, if I was quote-unquote excited to watch this movie, because you see the shots of this place. It's like an office building. It's kind of reminds me of a WeWork building. R.I.P. WeWork. But
isn't that a panopticon? Am I making that up?
Panopticon might be an optical device for...
Oh. I thought that was the type of building like this, whereas it's like a bunch of halls within a building.
Yeah.
Because there's so many. It's kind of dizzying how many offices and windows and rooms are in this. It's hard for our viewers to if you haven't seen it, to understand what I'm describing. It's a very bizarre office.
Well, the literal visual, which is very appealing to the eye, is it's diagonally spaced squares, and every wall is made of glass, so you can see through the structure. It's kind of like one of those unfolding images that never ends. And and then as it turns out, I don't know. I mean, I guess they built it that way, so it's more like artsy fartsy, open feelings, not closed off, blah blah blah. But it's just some kind of superstructure of mental health therapy.
Yeah,
that's weird, but whatever.
No, it made in this universe that made me feel good. They're helping a lot of kids, I guess.
Yeah. Louise Fletcher, also odd to me. Louise Fletcher's playing a character who is, what's the word? Very similar to Reagan, very kind, nice, helping person, because she won an Oscar for playing an actually complex character, the quasi following the rules to the point of being evil nurse in the
Nurse Ratched and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Thank you, Jesus Christ. So yeah, it was just odd to me that she was cast to play this part. She wasn't bad in it or anything. It was just weird.
No, she does fine with the shit they give her.
Yeah.
It's not her fault. Nothing her character does is like, whatever her character is.
Okay, so anyway, we're kind of skipping around a little bit because there's a lot of like intersectional... This movie loves cutting away from one thing to another thing, and you're not sure what time the thing is taking place when you cut back to the other thing. For example, we cut to the Vatican, which is the cheapest Vatican set I've ever seen. I think it's the Vatican. It's some kind of consecration of the Catholic Church. He's talking to a cardinal.
I didn't think he went to the Vatican.
Well, it could be the state or the national center. One of those things.
He's a cardinal. He's not the Pope.
Okay, whatever. It's an important Catholic building. It's not just a regular one. Because you don't have cardinals in every city or whatever. Anyway, Richard Burton goes to a cardinal.
Played by Paul Henreid in his last film, who is very old at this point because he was in freaking Casablanca.
That's right. It's good. I know Paul Henreid impression, but
I know. Just move on.
Yeah, all right. But I was trying to do the girl's voice, which is not a good idea. Anyway, everyone wants to hear not Ingmar Bergman. Jesus Christ.
Yes. Ingrid Bergman.
Ingrid Bergman impression. Yeah.
Okay. Move on.
Okay, wait. Let's keep going. So, they're at the Catholic meeting at some place that's important. There's a cardinal there, and Richard Burton is told to investigate the death of
Father Marin.
sorry, Maxwell Sydow from the first movie.
We should have said, you need to investigate the death of Father Marin. We don't care about Father Karras anymore, okay? Forget he existed.
Exactly. Like as I mentioned, and if you've seen Exorcist 1, you know what I'm talking about. Jason Miller / Father Karras, star of the show, most memorable part of the movie. The movie's going to ignore him forever, and moving on.
Once he fell out that window, he didn't exist.
So, and they say in a very lazy line that Richard Burton knew Father Marin in the past, which we know because we did not see Richard Burton in the first movie. But, yeah. So, Richard Burton goes to investigate the murder. So, his natural thing is, I gotta talk to Reagan. So, he goes to the mental health clinic with Glass. The Glass Mental Health Clinic, yeah. All right. And some of the best dialogue in the history of movie making when Richard Burton's in the glass room. Well, I saw things. They were horrible. It's a very interesting way of talking. I theorize that Richard Burton is a good actor, but a lot of the times he got older and drunker, and sometimes it just sort of like...
It's possible I got drunk. I kind of feel like... Because he became a huge star on the British stage. That's how he got into film. He's not one of these guys who, like, was in films in his teens and 20s. He sounds... Throughout his entire career, basically. It sounds like someone's in Shakespeare mode, trying to do other things.
Yeah. So anyway, so he goes to the clinic, and the movie runs into real problems trying to be decisive with its dialogue, because things like he wants to talk to Reagan. Reagan doesn't have any memories of the exorcism, and I'm skipping around a little bit, but they hook Reagan, and this is the part of the movie where I think most people will be driven to turn it off or just get bored like we did. But because they put the like electrodes on their heads and make them like
the flashing light bulb with noise too.
Oh yeah, we'll get to some noises later. But it's like yeah. Well, I don't know. There's one worse noise I want to get to, but I do want to wait a second. So let's do this first. So they do the flashing lights and the headbands and
electronic impulse, I guess that's what the band is for.
And I think at first they try to do it with Louise Fletcher and Reagan, and they sort of unlock the memories of the exorcism from the first movie.
Right, because I believe this tool that you're describing is trying to link together, but her name's Dr. Tuscan, by the way, in the movie, Louise Fletcher's character.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tuscan and Reagan are trying to connect. They can't quite connect. The language they use is weird. It's get low, or whatever they say. Get low, Reagan, get low. Now bring me down. Lower.
Yeah, I don't like that phrasing. I don't like the use of the subconscious as a plot point in a movie anyway. Also, very rote and generic. But it is supposed to be the human subconscious, and gets lower physically when you get deeper. And whatever.
And Dr. Lamont jumps in because of their faulty connection.
Yeah, he has to like rescue.
Because
Louise Fletcher's personality.
She can't handle. It turns out. So Pazuzu is subconsciously within. By the way, Pazuzu is such a terrible name. It could have more. I don't know. Sounds like something like Gabriel or something kind of cool. I don't know. I didn't think about what I would name the demon, but Pazuzu is such a silly thing to have to say 50 billion times in a movie.
Looking for Pazuzu. Where is Pazuzu?
So, anyways, he has to rescue. Pazuzu is very deep within Reagan still. So, I think they actually show it. This might have been the quote-unquote coolest shot of the movie. The camera goes at Father Lamont's behind Reagan, and you see from his point of view that Reagan was possessed by the demon in the first one, killing Dr. Marin by squeezing his heart. And Dr. Tuscan can't handle it, so then Richard Burton has to jump in.
Yeah, and he
saves her, and then says, would have helped a lot if she remembered it, but he says, I guess she would have had because there's a woman helping in the office and who's helping with the technology, and she says, sorry, going so long, almost done. She's having atrial fibrillation or something, and that sort of prevent her from having heart problems. In a trance state, she says, you will not remember any of this, like a Vegas hypnotist.
Yeah. So that was the weird thing. Well, this movie's like that a lot because they have this confrontation where he goes there and talks to Reagan. You kind of think that the movie does jump from there, kind of, but also Father Lamont leaves. So, and then I thought it was funny because on the way out, the assistant, who's a very, very strange way of talking, Louise Fletcher's assistant, and she's like, oh, yeah, this kid's a very good artist. He drew a picture of you, and it's a picture of,
oh, yeah,
Richard Burton's lazily drawn face with red eyes, and the movie doesn't really play it off like, oh, the kid was possessed by the demon, and, it's just like, oh, okay, ugly face, bye.
Oh, isn't it with flames with red around it? And then Richard Burton's like, oh, and then, I don't know how he knows this, but he's like, there's a fire in the building, we must find it. And then he finds a fire in a box.
I don't remember that.
You remember this at all? I went downstairs and found a fire in a box.
No, that's my fire box.
And he went down there with Dr. Tuscan, Louise Fletcher. Just call her Dr. Tuscan. And then he starts beating the fire with a stick, and his beating the fire with the stick makes it worse. I don't know. It would have been better if the Borman or whoever directed it so the stick was somewhat mildly effective. And then Louise Fletcher kills on the fire extinguisher, which was a surreal scene.
I missed that. I don't know how I missed that. It seems somewhat exciting, but
yes, I don't know. Again, with the saxophone player, insert this random kid making drawings. I guess because Pazuzu, I'm just guessing, randomly floats over to people sometimes and makes them do things. Yeah. I guess that kind of happens at the end. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So, this movie is very disjointed. Even if you wrote it down as it happened, it would still come off as like you were all over the place because they intercut in a quote-unquote flashback, but it's very prolonged. They brought Max von Sydow back. They didn't have enough footage to make a real flashback. And so Max von Sydow exploring Africa, it was just like, even if it was effective or worked, the temporal issue with that was so bizarre that it took me out of the movie because it's like, am I watching the first one again? What's going on?
I didn't think that. It's just establishing that Lamont and Marin have a same sort of gift. I think they can kind of track where Pazuzu is, and try to fight him. So that's what the flashbacks with Father Marin are tracking, and then with Father Marin's attempts to help Kakumo is specifically what the flashbacks are, what Father Marin's doing.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I'm sure you'll.
So this introduces one of the worst parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Is that it's pretty common in demon movies, ghost movies, haunted movies, whatever, that the demon ghosts inhabit things, are represented by things. I think it's common. It's a common thing with horror mythology, like with werewolves and vampires, which are like some of the coolest things in movies, let alone horror movies. What does Exorcist 2 use to represent evil? What wonderful animal do they use to use fucking locusts?
Yeah, locust makes sense on wide shots where it's like the desert and a million locusts come up and it blocks the sun. Very biblical, makes a lot of sense. But the little locust, I as an animal lover, I had a little bit of strange sympathy because it kind of just looks like a little beetle on its back or something. But yeah,
It was just done horribly because I think locusts, if they're in a movie, I don't know, don't literally have to be one of the plagues of Egypt, but like in 2 seconds of 10 Commandments, and that's I think how much screen time locusts should get, and they're in this fucking movie for it feels like almost all of it, and then because Father Lamont, the flashbacks with the Father Merrin are like Father Lamont having dreams.
yeah,
And how he dreams is he rides the wings of I don't know what technology that was, for like a giant like a locust flying through the air. And it's like a bigger than usual locust.
yeah.
So just so much locusts in this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
And then they use the locust to show the evil, because it's like they even use it in don't get brushed by the wings of a locust. I'm not brushed by the wings of a locust. Stupid dialogue like that. It's just
yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of symbolic. Well, within reason, I'm okay with some loose symbology in a horror movie, but gotta get to the thing. And obviously, locusts can't suck blood, or do anything, which is not
and that's
helpful.
how Kumo is one of the heroes, I guess, superpower to help people of the movie, because as a kid there's a huge locust swarm eating all their food, and he uses it's like a tube on a rope, I don't know what it was, and he swings it around, and he's this magical being who can help people, who scares the locusts away. But when he's attempting to do it, and that's I guess a link between these people who can help people, is that they can drive away demons, but the demons can still possess them, and they need the help of Catholic priests to get exorcised.
Yeah. So I want to talk about something where it felt like it went on forever. I think it was only a couple scenes, but John Borman, or the person who did the musical score or whatever, they were like, "Oh, we need a stinger that lets the audience know that the scary cuts are happening," and they make this noise. Do you remember this? They're like, we did it multiple times.
Was that only in the African scenes?
I don't know, but it drove me fucking crazy. I was like, why is my movie making sounds that loud? That makes no sense.
I think it is only in the dreams, and actually going to. They don't say actual place names. I think they do.
Deepest Africa.
There's 2 places. There's a bizarre kingdom in high altitude where you have to climb within cracks of a rock, like a.
Yes, I have my notes here. Like, why the fuck is Richard Burton climbing a mountain? Because it didn't look very realistic, and he looks old, and it was weird. I mean,
It's convenient that there's 2 rocks close enough to each other where they're not touching, but there's just small enough where humans can climb through, so it reduces your falling risk. There's also the other village where adult Kakumo lives.
right. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that was weird because the movie kind of has 2 endings almost with Kakumo. But before we get to that, I want to talk about Linda Blair, because I guess I feel less bad now that it's 2025, but she was like 16-ish at the time.
She's playing 16.
Oh, and her acting in this movie. My God, there's no wonder she was not in a ton of other movies after the Exorcist franchise waned.
Well, yeah, she was typecast too, but I don't believe she had a lot of talent. And the plot of Exorcist 1 did a good job of having her mostly say the I guess it's not even her doing the voice. I believe it. They hired someone else to do the.
No, it's a woman. It's a woman doing the. I sucked your mother's cock, or whatever the fuck that Pazuzu says. So, okay, I want to read this. I think it's probably the most famous line in the movie. Even it's not famous, but I've seen it before. So we talked about this before. So while she's at the hospital volunteering or whatever, Dana Plato plays a girl who is mute by disease or whatever trauma.
They say autism.
That's weird, but because that didn't strike me.
There is nonverbal autism, so.
I know, but she did play it like she. Whatever. The character didn't seem that autistic to me, but whatever. I still stand by my opinion. Anyway, that wasn't my point. The girl, Dana Plato, starts talking again because Reagan's so nice that she cures disease.
She even says, "Why don't you try talking?" And then, I guess her presence or whatever can get her talking.
A better movie would have had some way to make that more inspirational looking and not just like. Some random girl asks you to talk, okay. But anyway,
let
me finish my anecdote. So that Dana Plato turns to Reagan and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And then Reagan says this all-time greatest line in cinema history. "I was possessed by a demon, but it's gone. I'm okay now." It's like that was a very dumb line of dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's kind of Reagan talks the whole movie. I wrote down she reminded me of a Today Show anchor from the 1970s or something. It was very like pat, upbeat, like push the lines out, kind of like, you know, good diction but not much else.
Just playing a younger character, like more like a smiling, happy 50s or 60s girl from a sitcom or something.
Yeah, I can see that. That is kind of her characteristic. She's normal and nice now. Can't you tell? So I'm gonna get raced through this ending here. Let's see if there's more stuff to talk about. I don't remember from the movie. Okay. So I'm sure you're gonna fill in a lot of dots here. So Richard Burton goes to Africa. He talks to James Earl Jones, who's the guy who said,
"Oh my god, it took too long." Because then the scenes are so not worth it when he talks to. There's horrible scenes that should have been deleted about him talking to the other people in Africa that can't understand him.
Oh yeah, and he gets like he tries to get a taxi or a camel ride or something. I don't know, whatever. It's just I don't know if that happened or not, but it's a lot of filler to like. Oh, I have to get from A to B, and let's show that this is a big country with lots of stuff going on because we have two sets.
Well, the only benefit of getting to Kakuma was Ned Beatty's character.
Which I don't remember. I didn't remember him.
So after he goes to the first village, the Sky Village, that goes very poorly. I could show you where Pazuzu killed a man, and then they're like, "Get out of here with your demon talk," and they start throwing rocks at him, and that's what causes Reagan to faint while performing.
Because they're link. A better movie would have had a way of making that feel more real. But yeah,
throwing rocks. Yeah, I didn't realize they had that type of link. The viewer has no idea that the link they had in that office scene in the beginning caused a permanent link between them, where if one gets hurt, the other feels that type of thing.
It doesn't make sense because is the link because he's a priest and she's a demon, or
I thought it was
she's a Catholic and he's a Catholic, or
I thought it was because they did our favorite Electrolink light bulb device.
Does she have a psychic connection to Dr. Tuskin as well?
No, they couldn't link.
That's so dumb. Why is he so much better at linking?
Well, I believe and that's why the Father of Mary and Kakumo stuff comes up. Because there's these people who are imbued with angelic superpowers that can help people.
Said that, yep.
And the only people, and there's these, so there are few genetically gifted, and there's also only a few genetically gifted Catholic priests who can help them, Father Marin and Father Lamont. So,
well, fuck Harris, but I'm not going to belabor that point. I like Father Karras. His name's Jason.
So,
for crying out loud.
Dr. Tuscan, Louise Fletcher, tried to connect, but she couldn't. Because she doesn't have that Catholic priest helper connection.
I got it.
Father Mott does.
It's very clear. You made that point clearly, yes.
Okay.
Just
talk after the podcast about how much I talk, okay?
You drink too. Alright, so they'll probably don't understand, and I'm sure you'll explain, because he talks to Kumo in Africa. They do the thing where it's like, you have to fall on this bed of nails, and the bed of nails isn't real. And then after all that happens, he goes all the way back to New York to confront Reagan. What happened there?
Because he accomplished his mission in a way, because the reason he went to Africa, it was to find Kakumo and figure out a way to defeat Reagan.
Pazuzu.
Oh, Pazuzu was in Reagan, sorry. And he does tell her, he says, you have to pluck the heart, you have to pluck Pazuzu's heart, or however you phrased it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was in the vision that he gave to Louise Fletcher.
I thought you were going to get to the part where when he falls into the nails, he goes into a maybe real, maybe dream, where now James Earl Jones is a scientist studying locusts.
Oh God, I do remember that. I thought that was real. The real world. I was so confused. I'm like, oh, of course he had a vision in Africa. Now he's in the real world with Dr. James Earl Jones. But it was the opposite.
I think the real was Kakumo on the throne saying, "Walk through this nail to show your faith."
So did the scientist vision help him decide he has to go back to New York?
Well, yeah, it was more the plucking the heart. But I think the locust dream made it clear how Pazuzu works. And locusts are vessels of Pazuzu's evil. But there's good locusts. And
that's the lesson.
Because James Earl Jones shows him he has the bad locusts in one cage and the good locusts in another cage. And we're hoping with our studies the good locust saves the bad locusts. Presumably for like crop research.
So it's also
saving crops.
But it's also a metaphor about religion or something, I would imagine.
Yes.
Good Catholics, demons.
Yeah, I think the movie beats all that had that locusts are evil, or for the most part.
But I'm saying the good locust could be like
Reagan or
Father Lamont.
I think the good locust, it says like an angel locust who could prevent that bad locust from destroying. So I think the good locusts are more like Reagan and Kakumo more than the Catholic priests.
That's true. That in your I'm not saying you made this up or anything, but your parable about the superheroes, that Reagan and Kakumo would be more super heroic, I guess, or at least super powered. And also, by the way, angel metaphor, great way to bring back the ghost of Father Karras. John Borman, hello? I got a brilliant idea for you. Listen to this.
I'm 87 years old, British and dead. Leave me alone.
The kids would love to see John Borman.
He's a bore man. Leave him alone.
Okay, so ending of the movie was cool in parts, and it was still kind of weighed down by the like half-hearted and surprisingly complex plotting going on. Because Wait. So first Reagan goes back to the house. The first movie house.
Yes. No, she meets up with Father Lamont somehow. Oh, they meet up because earlier in the movie they meet up. Somehow they decide that they're, I guess because the Africa thing, they know about Africa. They both know about it through their flashbacks or whatever. So they meet up at a natural history museum, a world history museum.
That was dumb too because the museum didn't look like Africa. It looked like a freaking science museum.
There was a display with cavemen and elephants and shit. So
that was lazy. I'm sorry, that was lazy. Moving on. Okay. So they met there, and then they're like, "Oh, we have to go to the house to beat the demon or something," or.
So they get I guess they needed to do this. They go to a hotel, a very seedy hotel, and
Oh boy, she's 16. Boy. Oh boy.
because previously, Father Lamont steals our favorite Neuralink light bulb device. Because they need to. This helps research how to defeat Pazuzu. And somehow through this, they get the vision of the house. And then basically, Father Lamont turns into a zombie and starts walking
Kind of like
to the house.
It's kind of like the possession of Father Karras, who's not in this movie, in the first movie.
It's much more zombie-like. And Father Karras, he has a green goblin face and starts going like he's gonna choke Reagan, and then fights it and jumps out the window.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how this movie. We'll get into it, but there's similarities and many differences between those two. But so yeah, they're at the house, and then so much explanation. So Louise Fletcher and her assistant or one of her assistants or whatever, they get a call about the house.
How do they figure it out?
Cause they take a cab down there. The cabbie's like, wait, the cabbie's something weird. I can't remember, but whatever. Okay, let's just say it happened. I don't know. Probably.
Oh, this. So I don't remember how they know they're going to the house. But what do you think of the? It was like airport or insert airplane disaster movie level turbulence that randomly happens on their. They take a plane, which I thought they were in New York, and I thought the house was in New York. So I didn't know why they got in a plane.
So the house must have been further out, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. It made sense. Like to be fair, that scene looked more like a horror movie, so I was fine with it. But I wouldn't say I was thrilled by it. It kind of reminded me of like Final Destination or something.
There'd be more about like why our plane almost crashed, but then this big turbulence and just stops, and then it's a calm flight the rest of the way.
Yeah. So they them from the airport. They get the cab. The cabbie. There was something weird. Some weird dialogue with the cabbie. I don't remember. There was something going on there. I can't remember. I don't think it was just they were yelling at him to go faster, or oh no, I think he knew that the house was bad, and he was driving them there anyway, or something like that. It was really it wasn't a big deal. I just remember the cabbie was weird, but anyway,
we had problems with each other. It's very angsty cab ride, just random for side characters.
It makes sense that she's stressed because she thinks Reagan's gonna die and all this, but so they get to there. And then this is the weirdest part of the movie to me. It's just because it's so contained. The assistant set something on fire.
Yeah, it's after because Father Lamont and Reagan get there first, and I believe they're fighting this film's version of Pazuzu, which is a new Reagan, a different one. Linda Blair's body with green eyes in a dress.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was
it's not the real Reagan possessed because the real Reagan's in the scene too.
Yes. And because Father Lamont's a zombie, the green-eyed Reagan is able to convince him momentarily to murder normal Raven so he can be with 16-year-old demon Reagan. Oh boy, don't do that. Oh boy.
At least they only hug and sloppily kiss for a few seconds, so it's not
That's pretty gross.
Pants off or anything.
Pants were on the whole time. So they do the parallel scene, which of course looked a little dumb because you have the main thing with the special effects and Reagan and the Father Lamont. We're almost done, Marcus. I gotta finish quick. Jesus. Father Lamont and Reagan and the thing, and that's cool. And then outside, you basically got Louise Fletcher with her arm in shrapnel from the fire explosion, being like, "Oh, I can't go in. Oh boy.
Yes. This is what I said earlier about the kid with the drawing. And this was foreshadowing people because I said I think Pazuzu can randomly go into people because her name's Sharon. Apparently, she's like I thought for a second she was like recasting Reagan's mother, but she's like a hired person to as far as I know, they're not family. I think she's like a live-in mother, substitute mother for.
Could be a friend. Could be a friend of the family or a relative or something. But some kind of live-in nanny supervisor for the school.
She gets a weird smile, like she's possessed.
Yeah, the movie should have played that off better and made her be more evil and have a longer scene. But this movie's weird, so yeah. So
and she was kind of surreal. Oh, because we're skipping over the cooler parts of the movie. Is that I think the whole scene with the Pazuzu Reagan with her powers caused the house to fall apart, and the cab. I thought this is kind of cool. The cab goes out of control. The window cracks so I can't see.
Mm-hmm.
It actually crashes into the front door of the house.
That's what it was. Because that cabbie's car crashed. He also knew the house was haunted, but or was the quote unquote what's their last name? Whatever, the Reagan house, whatever you want to call it.
I don't remember the family's last name.
So anyway, let's wrap this up because this is pretty much the end of the movie. So how does Father Lamont finally figure out not to kill a little girl to have quote unquote sex with a demon little girl or whatever?
It's similar to the first movie where it's in a lot of movies, to be honest, where good overcomes evil by really, really wanting to overcome evil. I can do it. I want to do it.
I can do it. I'm investigating a exorcism. I'm Richard Burton.
All the while, locusts are swarming around. Fuck the locusts in this movie. Anyways, so then he literally just, with his hands, I don't think he uses the tool. He actually does what Kakumo told him to do and
grabs the heart.
Pins. Yes, I don't know how he didn't do it without a knife, but he opens up her chest and pulls out her heart, and I assume smushes it, throws it really hard against the wall. I don't know. And then you think that'd be it, because that's literally what Kakumo says to do it. But then, in the attempt to have like a tug at your heartstrings epic moment, Reagan runs downstairs, I guess because the bedroom is falling apart. It basically explodes. And she simulates, I guess because of her connection with Father Lamont and Kakumo, she simulates what I said earlier about Kakumo as a kid swinging a
I don't remember this
rope on a tube.
Forgot this entirely.
Where.
Scares the locust.
But, which it doesn't do, but it's stupid because I don't know. It would have been better if the movie inserted a MacGuffin where there's a rope that Reagan can swing around because she doesn't have that. So it's literally her pretending she has a rope, and she's actually wearing a very pretty white dress while all this is happening. So then it cuts between Kakumo swinging and then Reagan swinging. It looks like Reagan is disco dancing or something. It's just.
Yeah, I think
and then all the locusts die or fade away or whatever.
I literally mistook that as, oh, she's scared because the building's collapsing and she's holding her hands up in the air or something. I didn't understand that sequence at all. But yeah. So then it just ends.
The house completely crumbles, but Father Lamont and Reagan can walk away, And then there's a little scene where this is disgusting, to be honest. I think her name is, did I say her name was Nancy or something? Whatever. The house nanny we talked about. I assume she just died when she kicked she kicked the light to ignite the gasoline trickling from the taxi.
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. Tuscan is holding her in a sheet of some kind, and she's horrible burn marks, super red, and she goes, Reagan, and then her name's Sharon, because Reagan goes, Sharon, and then Sharon,
Sharon, where are you? R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne.
Sharon killed. Sharon's like Reagan, and goes, and then dies. I did not need the horrible red burn marked face. But anyways, that happens, and then we're about the final shot of the movie. Dr. Tuscan's talking to the two of them and said, and this was confusing to me, and I don't know if you interpret it the same way. It's like they're in New York, but all of a sudden, behind Reagan and Father Lamont, like a landscape with a field and a sun opens up behind them.
Yeah, I think it's an extension of the African metaphor they will share or whatever.
So some portal to Africa opens, and then she's like, take care of her, all right? And she's like, I will take care. And then they walk off, and then the portal closes, and they're gone. And then the movie ends with Dr. Tuscan in shock. And then I don't know how people didn't run up earlier in the movie, because it takes a while, and then a taxi crashes and a building explodes.
I think they explained that because after the crashed, Louise Fletcher got out of the wreck, and she's like, somebody help, call the police. I think Pazuzu cast a spell over the house that they couldn't see the thing. That's speculation, but that's just what I thought. But yeah.
Yeah, and then the movie ends with people rushing up, and the cops asking a lot of questions. A lot of questions. He actually gets on quick. Cop of the year right there, asking investigator questions. And then goes to credits.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually couldn't watch the credits because my Tubi skipped to another movie before I could watch the credits. Did you watch the full credits?
No, I never watched full credits when they offered to skip them, but which I probably should, but whatever. They were red like the credits.
It seemed like it was a classical. This movie was scored by someone with a classical score in
Except for the
the classical theme for Exorcist 2, which we all agree is better than anything John Williams or any other film composer did. Plays for the credits.
The first movie is just Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield, which is a pop song. So anyway, so that's the movie. Your explanation was a lot more clearer than me watching the movie. But you can go first on the review.
This takes the cake, I believe, for worst movie we've done on the podcast, and I think the worst movie I've ever seen, just because it's kind of caveated because if this was a random, let's just call it a movie that doesn't exist, like The Ghost on the Lane, I don't know, and then it was like this, it was Locusts, and I feel like that's a weird movie. But it had an awesome premise in The Exorcist, which was an excellent horror movie. But I think what helped Exorcist was it was a drama with horror elements. It didn't have a bazillion jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
But it was about a family falling apart due to a demon. And I never watched the movie more and said, oh my God, who made these choices? Don't need to go through all of them, but the locusts and Africa and naming the demon Pazuzu and the to do the link and so many things. I gotta get a my brain's gonna break if I try to think of this movie more. I don't know. I'm tempted to give it a slightly higher score because there are so bad good moments like that. I had a demon and now I'm good now, or whatever she said, and then stuff like that. And it's kind of cool. The house blows up and the taxi gets destroyed, and the guy punches a hole in the windshield of the taxi so he could see. It was kind of cool. But like I said, I simply put, it took me a long way to get it to say simply put, but it's the worst movie I've ever seen. So I'll give it a 1. Like, that's just the lowest score I think I can give it.
All right. I agree with a lot of your points. This movie is an incomprehensible mess. I can imagine uncompleted test footage from Orson Welles or Terry Gilliam that would make more sense than this movie. Honestly, it just feels like dumb scene in a building. Oh, cut to the desert. Cut back. It's like thrown all over the place. It's very disorganized. I was watching a YouTube channel about video game reviews, and they said the only time you can give a movie a 0 is if the movie does, it's the game in this case. Like, the game doesn't turn on, like, it doesn't work at all. And this movie, to me, so disjointed and just cut together loosely and wastes everything, anything that's possibly valuable in it. I am confident giving it this score a 0 out of 10 because I just did not get any value out of watching it. And I would give if I scored this separately, the very end of the movie where they go back to the house and there's some action set pieces was still rushed, poorly shot, poorly edited. I'd give that like a 2 out of 10 and recommend it to hardcore fans of the Exorcist franchise and horror movies from the 80s/70s. But no, this movie's god awful. Just watch the first movie and something else. No, all right. So, Marcus, it's Halloween month, so I hope it was a horror movie, maybe, but what are we watching next week?
Not only do I want to up the caliber of film after this train wreck, but I also revealed to the audience my favorite subgenre of horror film. There's plenty of good ones. There's plenty of classics in any subgenre of horror, but I think my favorite is vampires.
Ooh.
And I'm going with, to also accomplish my wanting to watch recent prestige pictures, and I love the filmmaker, let's watch Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
Oh boy. Well, at least we'll have something to talk about next week. Okay, there you go. Ryan Coogler's Sinners. It's on HBO Max. It's available for purchase on every other place in the world. A very popular movie. And we'll see you next week. Twinbill! Yee!
Yeehaw! Happy Halloween!